morning. Welcome to What's New with Mike and Jeff, your Saturday morning hobby hangout coming to you live via the wet interwebs because it's raining like cats and dogs in Arizona.
It rained all night here too. So
See? I'm your host, Mike, and with me is Wet Jeff.
hello, how's everybody doing today?
It was thundering and lightning and pouring and raining like mad. My pool is full.
I love a good thunderstorm.
Yeah, I do too, but not at midnight. I prefer it to be during the day when I'm out and about doing my thing.
Doing your thing. Yep, I
Doing
get
my
it.
thing.
I get it. Yeah, I was out in a really high wind as we were seeing the storm headed our way, and we had gotten all these storm advisories. I'm out in a really high wind, trying to put a cover on my motorcycle, which is problematic in a high wind.
It's like a big parachute.
It is, especially the one I have now, because as we've talked about, the one that I have now, when I had the bike parked the opposite way from the direction the wind comes, it blew the bike over.
Yeah.
Hey, Lenny.
Lenny has joined us. Good morning, Lenny.
Yeah, literally blew my bike over into the car next to it. Luckily, the car next to it is my roommate's car, so.
So it wasn't it wasn't that bad after
Let's
all.
just put it this way: it added a small dent among many.
Well, when you come out next week, man, the weather it's going to be like the low hundreds, but it will be humid.
I will do what all Arizonians do. I will go from an air-conditioned home to an air-conditioned car to an air-conditioned building.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Yeah, Joe has joined us. He only had a couple hours of sleep last night, probably because of the thunder and all of his dogs and everything like
everything
that.
going crazy.
Yeah, and
It'll do that. It'll do that.
It does all the time, every time. My dog got a little worked up. My cat could have cared less. It's like,
Yeah. We had we have a car in the neighborhood that's just in really bad shape, and it's got no exhaust, and it's really loud, and it backfires a lot. So every time it drives through the complex, you can just hear the dogs. Every time it backfires, it's like, roar, roar, roar.
Oh, yes, work is going to be fun if you only got 2 hours of sleep. Yeah, last night we had a scorpion in the house, big old scorpion in the house, and I'm sure today we'll probably find more scorpions in the house because when it rains, all their little hiding spots get flooded, and then they go to higher ground.
I worked for Orkin Pest Control, and every time there was a storm, our scorpion and rattlesnake calls would go through the roof because they get flooded out and they end up in people's yards, in their homes, and it was always fun. It was always like, okay, I'm going to be inundated with scorpion complaints today.
Yep.
But anyway,
they're easy to get rid of as long as you find them. That's the challenge.
Yeah. Well, you do know they glow in UV light, right?
Yeah. And that's Andy goes through the house at night, and she goes out hunting for them, and she's afraid to touch them.
We had a customer back before Phoenix grew to the north, back when it was just desert, and it was north of the Cave Creek Road, and it was a baseball player. It's a $2 million home.
Ooh.
And it was a really nice estate out in the middle of nowhere. And of course, once you got inside the secure fence area, it's all grass, all Bermuda grass, which is like concertina wire.
Right.
And he goes, I don't have a scorpion problem. And because he had got caught, he had a couple scorpions in his house, and he goes, I don't usually have scorpions. I said, well, sir, you live in a desert, they're outside everywhere. No, not in my yard. I've never seen them on the property. And I'm like, okay. And he goes, and it made him think. So he calls my boss and says, Jeff said I had a scorpion problem. Is there any way I can check to be sure? So Bob, my boss, goes, yeah, we can come up some evening and we can show you what kind of a scorpion problem that you have. And we went up right at sundown. And basically we have this gigantic UV light, and we literally stood on his back patio after the sun went down and went dink and turned this UV light on, and you just literally saw these little glowing blue things in his Bermuda grass. And there's probably 2 dozen. And he's like, there's that many scorpions in my yard? And we're like, yeah, it's a desert. You live in a desert. And he goes, well, I let my kid play in that grass. Well, first of all, it's Bermuda grass, so it's got to be painful.
Right.
And it's full of scorpions, so I wouldn't recommend it.
Yeah. Looks like Lenny just did a bunch of yard work and the rain just washed all of his stuff away. So that's what happened. And Rex is joining us from Whitefish, Montana, waiting to jump in Whitefish Lake and swim. Well, good for you. Have fun with that one, Rex.
Lake for the swim the fish race this morning.
He's going to swim with fishes.
That sounds fairly interesting.
I'm assuming there's fish in the lake. I don't know.
Yeah.
Scorpions are something you just learn to live with.
Yeah.
And it's just part for the course.
Yeah.
Joe's building an ark. I don't blame you, Joe.
Joe, there is actually, and I kid you not, on the drive from Maryland to Ohio, when I would go back to visit my family, there is a church group along the freeway that for the last 15 years are slowly building a 1-to-1 scale replica of Noah's Ark.
How big would that have to be to fit 2 of every animal?
Bigger than could be built.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But
they're using the whole cubit thing. It's a religious project, but it's a nice little tourist attraction to drive. Oh, look at that.
And that's probably more what it is than it is anything else.
Yeah.
And they're going to open it up and put some fake animals in there, and people come pay money. And
a my generation version of clickbait.
Oh, so Rex said they've been hitting a lot of game shops as we travel. Yeah, across the country. A few sort of tolerate us being in their store. Okay. Tolerated you being in their store.
That's actually very true of many game shops, because many game shops are actually a disguise for a clubhouse.
And you're just a distraction to their clubhousing. So
pretty much.
I've always if I had unforeseen amount of money and had no responsibilities in my life and could just do whatever I wanted, I think it would be fun to do a video tour of game stores across the United States and the UK,
just to see what they're like.
Yeah, just it'd be a good YouTube channel.
Yeah,
you'd go out to just different stores and different events and different activities that are taking place, and you would just film them and talk to people about the hobby. And
or there are so many shows now where they turn there's bar restoration. There's I can't think of his name now. He does Hell's Kitchen.
Hell's Kitchen.
Yeah, but the guy that is on that, the cook,
Gordon Ramsay.
Gordon Ramsay. Thank you very much. Which, by the way, every British person I ever worked for at Games Workshop or Battlefront is Gordon Ramsay.
That's just their personality.
Yeah, but but there's so many shows out there. You could travel the country and go help surviving game shops. But it's been my experience that people open game shops for one of 2 reasons.
Clubhouse.
The first one is the rare one. Is the guy that just wants to make a living running a game shop. Darren's a perfect example of that. He's made a decent living for himself, has a really nice game shop, great community center. That's the minority. The majority are guys that want to get their product at a discount. I don't know how many. I mean, literally 80% of the accounts we used to deal with, it was just a bunch of guys that said, hey, we should pull our money and open a game shop, and that way we get stuff at cost. And they ran it that way. And that's why they don't last long.
Well, yeah, because eventually somebody doesn't have enough money anymore because they're sinking all their extra money into the game store, and finances become a real thing.
Yep.
So, but it would be fun. That's why it would have to be. I'd have to have a just lottery winning type money, get an RV, and just travel around.
You'd have to have that silly money.
I would have to have silly money, and I don't have silly money. But it would be a neat, because then I'd go over to the UK and just tour around, checking out and just showing off game stores. I think people would be fascinated to see different game stores, because we're so ingrained of just seeing the 1 or 2 game stores we go to locally. Roll mine. How hard
yeah, go ahead, read away.
Greet people who come into your shop. That's complicated. Ask if you're looking for anything. Woo! Now we're getting it. Be enthusiastic. What? Have weekly events posted somewhere. It's a good shop like IOG do, but many don't. Some will not know that we dropped hundreds in other stores along the way. Yep.
Yeah.
You never know who you're talking to. If you're running retail, like the first thing you never know who you're talking to.
Yeah, no.
You could be talking to someone that has a lot of money that wants to buy a new army. And if you don't hit all those marks that Rex just talked about, they'll be like, yeah, I'll just go someplace else.
Well, yeah, I actually have done what you're describing. The difference, I didn't record it. When I worked for GW, I've been in shops all over the world. And the really neat thing, if you actually sit in a shop for any length of time and you're a regular at a shop in your own community, what you notice is there's not a lot of difference in the makeup of the customers.
Right.
They're all kind of the same. But the way the guys run the shop, say, "Oh, my customer base is different." Well, they're really not. How you run the shop is what's different. But I've done that. I've been in countless shops. I've been in a butcher shop that sells GW. I mean, so. Morning, Raymond.
First of all, Lenny says, start a YouTube channel, make 6 figures touring game stores. If I could make 6 figures touring game stores, I'd do that in a heartbeat.
Well, the way today works, if you actually got the followers, you could actually do it.
Probably. And yes, Raymond, it did rain like in sheets all over here. My yard is flooded, so that would be fun. That would just be that's like that pipe dream. You know, I don't think my wife would necessarily agree to doing that. So, you know, there's all those factors that have to be put into place. So
yeah, it'd be fun though to do. It'd be really kind of cool.
Yeah. Hey, Don.
If one of us hits the lottery,
yes,
we should try to do that.
I would come pick you up in a heartbeat. We'd get like one of those 89,000 foot long RVs.
Yeah,
we'd have to have a game table in the back. Well, if we don't have
Gwar.
Yes,
Gwar,
we would have.
Gwar has a metal Blood Bowl table in the back of their tour bus, so they can play Blood Bowl while touring, and they magnetize all their bases.
And now that like all the game board tables are smaller, like 40K Aegis, everything's smaller board, it'd fit in an RV perfectly. It's not like we need a 4x8 game table anymore. Yeah. We can get away with like a 3x6.
Well, that's probably the first thing you learn when you actually go from shops in the US to shops in the UK. The biggest thing you'll learn instantly is the ones in the UK are much smaller.
Right.
Yeah.
But probably a very vast, very different product line. You know, yeah, you're going to see your traditional GW and Warlord and stuff like that, but you might see some of those.
Yeah, the categories are the same, but the actual product names are, you know, it's like when you go to Canada or the UK, all that really changes when you go to a big city is the billboard names change. You know, we're used to seeing. I mean, my first trip to Canada, I'm going, they have just as many billboards as we do in the States, but I don't recognize any of these. You know,
I would just think the UK though, because that's the hub of all the game designing and miniature manufacturers. So you might still see some of those older miniatures that are still being spun out of metal.
Yeah, there's a lot of European miniature companies that you would see, you know, that in Europe, because they don't. We had Ralph Arthur and Grenadier, which were the two big ones when I started gaming. And so, yeah, there'd be a lot. The brands would change, but you're still going to see the same categories.
Yeah. Rex, my wife has more games than I and loves to check out game shops when we travel. Who doesn't? Unfortunately, our Travada, is that it sounds like a medication for.
He says it's a Class B van.
Yes, he's got one of those traveling vans, has limited storage space, so box size comes into play. Yes, you need to play a lot of those micro games.
Yeah.
But a Travada, that just sounds like some sort of medication that it's going to give me like diarrhea and vomiting.
There should be a list of side effects after. You know, with the Travada van, you get. Spaces, you know.
We all have dream jobs. Like, you know, as a kid, I wanted to be in a band and tour and, you know, sex, drugs, and rock and roll type stuff. But now that I'm older, it's like, yeah, I just want to tour the country. And because then I'd go visit, because America has a lot of great historical sites to go visit. Yeah. So go visit like the tour, and then we could go to we could get go visit Civil War sites or Revolutionary War sites, and then we could play historical games in the van. We could bring like special guests to play on our RV. Special.
I I live on the East Coast. I hit Civil War sites. I could walk out my house and probably run across one.
Well, yeah, but the ones that actually have the monuments and the actual.
They're everywhere. A buddy of mine used to actually do exactly that. He would actually tour Civil War battlefields, but he took a metal detector because he used to dig 50 caliber musket balls out of trees. He collected Civil War era musket balls.
Yeah.
So,
it's odd.
Yeah.
Sometimes cooperative games are better in small. Yes, they are, Rex.
This is true.
Or just really bad dice rolling on your part is really helpful too, because sometimes the wife needs to win.
I've never intentionally rolled badly. I just always seem to do it naturally.
It's nice to dream. But now back to reality. Should we look at some pictures?
Yeah, we only have 4 today. I'm a little disappointed. We only have 4.
But they're 4 really great
Well,
pictures.
okay, let me rephrase that. I'm disappointed we only have 4 to show on tonight, but when I got up this morning and realized I hadn't done it yet, I was actually grateful there was only 4. That's not the one I want. There's the one I want. Button pushing is not my skill set.
No, it's not. It's none of our skill sets. Lenny says he hasn't been painting much. That's too bad, Lenny.
Yeah, Lenny, you shouldn't do that.
Well, but I know Lenny's also gearing back up to get into his Call of Duty RPG streams, and he's been streaming a lot of World of Warcraft stuff. So,
well, I'm expecting to see you when I'm back, Lenny. I'll be back on the 19th, and I'm there till the 29th.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, again, Joe, some more of Joe's terrain, really cool stuff.
Cranking it out.
Looks really, really good.
Love it.
And these are from, I believe, from Steve.
I love this. The flame effect. Everything looks really good on this model.
Yeah, it looks really nice.
So especially that black cape or the cape.
I love the transition on the cape are really good. Really good. Nice.
Love it.
I took all next week off from work. Hope to get a decent amount of painting done. Oh, awesome.
There you go. And totally looking forward to seeing you when you get out, man.
Lenny says he broke. I have broke my addiction to Warcraft. Oh, there you go. That's always cool.
So does that mean he's addicted to it again, or he's not addicted to it again?
Sounds like it went into remission.
Oh, good. That's
what I'm taking from it. And this is actually a rare post from Darren.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So I was talking to Darren because he was trying to dry brush the flush tone with scale 75, and scale 75 doesn't dry brush that easily.
It does not dry brush well.
You have to wick a lot of the liquid out before you start dry brushing. But he said this is a 3D print, by the way.
It's nice looking model.
Yeah, it's gonna be for his cyberpunk game.
The trick to dry brushing with scale 75 is you want to get all the paint off until it actually you almost have to not brush the across it. You want to rub into it and kind of do a dry rub on the model with a really, really dry paintbrush and build it up slowly, because scale 75 by nature does not dry brush well.
And it's whatever they're using to the liquid part of their paint, whatever, because we've talked about scale 75. It's not your traditional.
It's not a traditional miniature paint. It's a true artist paint.
Right.
That's
and their medium.
Yeah.
Whatever their medium is just different. So.
Yeah. Miniature companies, companies that produce miniature paint usually have a painter that says, "Here's what I like to be in my paint," and then they mix that paint. Whatever paint manufacturer they use mixes that paint to those conditions. Where scale 75 is a true artist color. It's an artist paint. So it doesn't have any of the nuances of what they would do if it's a true miniature paint. So,
well, it's just also like when you thin your scale 75, you want to get the acrylic thinner, or the thinner they recommend, not just water.
It's the only paint because I've been doing this a while.
Yep.
That's just off all the pictures, only 4 of them. It's the only paint that I've ever, normally in the years of doing stuff where, like I said, when I was first started airbrushing, the rep from Badger said, well, you have to use Badger thinner on these paints and this, that, and the other. And you hear companies say that, the GW thinner, you don't. If it's a miniature paint, all the thinners will work. So when I talked to the guy from Scale 75, he said, well, if you're going to airbrush Scale 75, you got to use Scale 75 thinner.
Right.
And I kind of in the back of my head, yeah, okay, whatever. Yeah, I've heard that before. And then I tried to airbrush it using Vallejo thinner. Did not work.
Right.
Did not work. No matter what I tried. So I broke down and tried their thinner, and it shot like butter.
Yep.
So
yeah, it's good paint. Lenny switched over to the Scale 75. I'm a paint whore. I have everything under the sun, so just like you. Well, you're a little bit worse than me. You're like the madam of the paint whorehouse.
I have to have the complete set.
Yes.
So like now GW I have the complete set, but they're all not up here. Up there are my unique paints and my airbrush Vallejos, and then starting here this way is all my Scale 75.
Yeah, you're like Pokemon of the paint collecting world. Got to have them all.
I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 paint racks of paint on my table.
Right.
And there's 12. Oh, I dig down here. There are 12 of these under my table that are completely full of other Army Painter and Vallejo paints.
Yes. Gotta love it.
Well, because I paint commission, you do not know how many people you do commission work for that will go, I want you to use this color.
Right.
So,
and you have to have that. And the problem is you can't always guarantee you're going to find that color.
No.
Like if someone commissioned you today and they're like, you need to use the Scab Red from Vallejo.
Yep.
65, whatever. You can't just run down to your local store and go, okay, here it is. Like,
no.
You may not even be able to get it online.
And with all the paint I have, I still run into days where the guy says, I want you to use this color, and I don't have it, and I gotta go find it.
So, you gotta go track it down. So, but I do love having different paints. It's creative, and you're gonna add another color. You're gonna add the Instacolor soon.
Yep, Instacolor and Turbo Dork are the two I'm going to grab when I'm in Arizona. Hopefully.
Yeah, which is going to be awesome.
Yeah.
I've been busily working on dice trays.
Woohoo!
So here's the OG dice tray that I'm working on.
Awesome. It's going
so great. I got it. It's going to be blue to match the Space Marine, and I just need to pour the resin in it next. This morning I glued in all the art and the trim and all that. And I'm also... This is Raymond's. This is just the coffin dice tray.
Right.
I had to make a change to what I was doing with Raymond's dice tray because I cut the symbols out in thin plastic card.
Right.
And one of them got damaged, so I got to fix that, which I'll be able to fix that. But this stuff is so thin, just by using hot water to clean off the glue, it melted a little bit.
Yeah.
And if I just glue this in the bottom of the dice tray, you know as well as I do, any type of glue I use for plastic to wood isn't going to hold well. No. And when that resin kicks, my concern is it's going to peel it off the wood and cause it to warp. So what I did is I made a false plastic bottom that will fit in the dice tray. This is plastic and this is plastic. So I'll use plastic glue and I'm going to glue it onto this, and then I'll paint this separately.
Right.
Sink it into the dice tray when it's done and then pour the resin over it because this is thicker.
I have a question.
Sure.
And I don't mean to throw a fly in the ointment.
No, I wanted to talk to you about it because I thought you would have.
You're going to have that heat reaction when that resin starts curing. It's going to heat.
Right.
Are you worried about that bending the plastic?
Well, I'm going to glue this into the dice tray.
Okay.
So this will be glued in really good. And again, when Raymond asked me for this was like, I'll do this just as the challenge to see if I can do it.
Right.
So that's where I'm at with this is like, can I do this? How am I going to do it? And I figured this would be, because if I use plastic glue to glue this down, I should get a better bond with this onto plastic with plastic glue than super glue.
Sure. No, I agree.
So that's kind of my thought process. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, the only other thought I had was you made those really great plastic pieces.
Yeah.
Have you thought about buying sheet mask and using that pattern you just did to cut out a stencil and airbrush that into the bottom onto the wood?
Thought about that, and that's still a possibility. Yeah, that's the.
I don't think you're on the wrong course. I think what you're talking about, using plastic glue and putting that in there, would be good. The only thing that I'm not even really concerned about. The only thing that pops in as a possibility, I guess, is the way to put it, is how hot that. I've never used the resin that you're using, so I don't know what kind of temperature it gets to.
Well, remember, it warped my my mat.
Oh yeah.
So it does. It obviously gets somewhat hot, but that was also a really thick pour.
Right.
So what I think I'm going to probably do is, once I glue it in, is I'm going to do like a really thin pour, because obviously less resin would mean less
it's going to
heat.
generate less heat for a shorter time. Yeah.
So I'll do like a really thin pour, just enough to kind of get the surface and kind of feel in and then just do a second pour over, and just do it over a series of maybe like 3 pours, versus trying to do it like yours, like the dice tray for the OG.
Right.
I'm gonna get like a gallon jug and just pour it in. I don't care how hot it gets. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I get that.
The heat doesn't affect paper at all.
And I'm not saying that I'm 100% positive you're going to have a problem with it. That's the only thing, when you go through the steps of when there is that heat, that, and the other thing was, and you're right, the plastic you were using, if you just glued those strips in, they are so thin, they would buckle.
Yeah.
They would do. But with what you're doing, I think you're going to be fine. So.
We'll see. It's a learning curve. I think also, like you said, do the sheet. Paint. I would just probably paint the bottom of the dice tray white. Take the mask, put that in there, mask it down. But these are really kind of fiddly with all these little things, and mask tape might be a little bit of a challenge.
Sure.
To try to
get them squared up and straight and all that stuff. Yeah, I agree. And then you've got your bleed through the. So I don't think masking it and shooting it with an airbrush is a better way to go. I just was like, again, that heat. Now when are you planning on pouring it?
Probably tomorrow night. Well, first I got to get it glued down and painted and all that. So
you want to let the glue cure really well.
Yeah.
So I'm just wanting to know. So tomorrow night, if I'm sitting here and I get this thing in the back of my head, I'll go, it's gone wrong. There's a disturbance in the force. I can hear Mike's angst.
Well, and again, I think Raymond understands this is a challenge. This is to me, this was just something I want to try, because if this does work, then I could do any of the symbols.
Oh yeah.
Like I could do the Space Marine horse. I could do real basic symbols.
Right.
I'm not going to get into like colored symbols or anything like that. Just real basic, like an orc skull or a Space Marine. I could do your wolf pattern.
Well, I would love you. There's my Grandinolus that's been laser cut. I'd love to paint that up.
Yep.
And have a dice tray with that in the bottom of it. That would just be killer.
Saying that again, depending on how round that is, I would have to find round.
It's perfectly round.
Well, how many inches?
It's called a circle.
Hey, not all circles are round.
That's a good point. How many inches?
Yeah, it's probably what, 12?
I think about that. Let me. Don't look at the ugly drawer in my toolbox. It's actually 9. Looks about just over 9 1/4.
So it'd
9 5/8.
So it'd be a matter of finding
or 3/8. I'm sorry.
It would be a matter of finding a round dice tray box type thing or whatever that would fit in.
Yes.
And that could be the challenge.
And now I gotta rehang this because I use sticky tape.
But if you could find that, if you could just find that image as like a PNJ or something like that,
I could
adjust the size.
Yeah.
Then I can just find any round, or I could put a round peg in a square hole.
I can have that emailed to you by the end of an hour after the show. I've got them on my computer.
Okay, send me that image, because believe it or not, I actually have the ideal dice tray that's round.
Awesome.
So it's a really deep dice tray though.
Yeah.
But it's actually quite nice.
Cool. We'll have to check it out.
I could work on that. Anywho, so I'm going to glue this on today during the show.
Right.
Just to get it glued down so it has plenty of time to dry. Then I'll have to get it primed, get it all painted. And then from there, it's a matter of gluing it into the dice tray itself, which is just going to be a ton of super glue on the bottom on the plastic,
Right.
so that it creates a heck of a bond and hopefully seals around the edges a lot. So that way the resin doesn't get underneath, causing that heat to come from both sides.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep. No, I'm with you.
So, and hopefully it goes swimmingly.
Well, I have no doubt you'll be able to pull it off. I just, like I said, when we were talking about the process, when you go, when you're doing a new process, your brain kind of goes, where are the problem spots as you're going through the steps?
Wow.
And that was the only one that popped up to me.
And this one kind of hit me. Good morning, Jonathan. This one actually hit me yesterday driving home from the shop.
Right.
Well, I was just like, and I'm like, that plastic's pretty thin. I wonder how that resin's going to respond. And I'm like, you know what? That's going to melt that resin.
Yeah.
Because it melted my cutting desk, my cutting tray. Good morning, Tim. So anyway, so I'm gonna
that heat, yeah.
I'm gonna get this glued down today so that it just has plenty of time to sit. And I think this is going to make one heck of a nice Necron, because it's a 12-inch coffin.
No, it looks awesome. I think it's going to look great. I mean, I'm excited to see where you get with it. So
what's twisted about this coffin? It's actually a pet casket.
Please tell me it's not a used pet casket.
No, it's not used. When I bought it on Amazon, it's listed as like a Halloween project crafts and all that. But one of the things it's also listed as is a pet casket. I'm glad Raymond finds the humor in it. So it's actually listed as.
He plays Necron, so he's like, he was probably going, did he really use it to bury an animal? That would be awesome.
So it's kind of I took the lid off. Obviously, the lid is not on it. So well, I think it's gonna make a. You
should do the lid as well, so you can go through the little thing of opening it, and
Well, but because it's a dice tray, though, that.
It's all about the delivery, man. Can you imagine he walks up to a gaming table, puts a coffin with a lid on the table, and then he opens it to roll his dice in? That's a message right there. If it's me, it's two messages. If I'm doing it, it's like my dice are going to be so bad I'm rolling them in a coffin because they suck.
This death to my army.
There you go. That would be me. So
well, I got two of them, so I have it came as a 2-pack when I bought them. So maybe
you'll put a mock-up dead dog in mine and say, "Here you go. Here's your army."
I'll get a bunch of Space Wolf.
I screwed you now.
Now, well, let's see how this one turns out. Maybe if this one doesn't work, make a good way to store my dice as well. Yes, you do need a lot of dice as a Necron player. So anyways, that's my project for this morning, is to try to get this kind of squared away, so that way I need to use a lot of plastic glue on it. And also the plastic glue doesn't dry like this stuff. When super glue dries, it like dries quick.
Right.
The model plastic glue gives me a little bit of leeway to.
Yeah, it's got to soften the plastic and then kind of re-adhere itself.
Yeah.
But yeah, a good 12-hour, 18-hour curing time would be definitely warranted.
Yeah. So that, and then I lined it all up so that way I've got lines for everything. So that's what we're going to work on this morning.
Sweet.
So I'm going to switch cameras.
I'm going to do more layering on my Space Wolf.
All right. Well, let me kidnap everybody.
No, don't put that on my head. I feel like a terrorist prisoner. Think.
Oh, wait. I forgot to turn my lights on.
Oh, I have to put my lights in place.
Boop. There we go.
Let's back up here a bit.
Whoa, look at you.
I got one of my desk lamps is arguing with me.
Is arguing with you?
Yeah, the little set screw in the base of a desk lamp that keeps it from popping back out, and when you're moving it around.
Yeah.
It came out. So if I move the light wrong, it pops out of the base, and I've got to reposition it back in. It's making me crazy.
Well, if that's the only thing making you crazy, I think you're doing okay.
I think I'm going to be all right in the world. Oh, I didn't clean out my wet palette today.
All right.
So I'm gonna step away and go take care of my wet palette that I forgot to do this morning. Be right back.
And okay. Unfortunately, you're not going to be able to really see this too well on camera simply because I'm flooding it with light. But I got the lines here so that way I can line everything up. The one thing I do like about this symbol that I'm creating for Raymond is there's points of where everything's going to line up, and it's going to look great. So basically, I'm just going to dab a bunch of glue on here. So for everyone in Arizona, I'm sure we all had our fair share of rain last night. So make sure you're careful out there when you're out and about. I know I will be. All right. Here goes nothing.
I still think some days that a wet pallet, just the maintenance on a wet pallet takes too long.
Just the maintenance alone is too much for you, huh?
Too much of a pain in the rear end. My tile's much easier, but I do.
There's something to be said about that. Sorry, I think I was off camera there.
I gave in to the peer pressure. People go, hey, all the cool kids use them.
Yeah. I'm not a cool kid, so.
Yeah, but one of the painters I admire most is, Alan, a girl with a brush, and he doesn't use one. So.
Yeah, that's true. He's he's like a real sloppy painter. Not painter. Hobby desk gets. I don't know what to call it. Like his paints are just like thrown in a pile.
Yeah. His desk is really organized. Wolf, Don Says I'm Sad was going to take the kids shooting at the range, and they all made excuses not to go. Oh, well.
Well, they just want to stay home and have a rain day.
And that'll get as the kids get older, they end up wanting to do less and less with the fam.
Yes.
Yeah, and then they hit a point where that changes. But
all right, so we got the first piece down. I don't know. Can you kind of see that?
Yep. I can see it.
So, and what this is going to create for me is just a raised piece of plastic to make it just easier to paint, and I'll get better lines versus trying to do that all by freehand.
Right.
This is going to be the challenging one because this tail is super long on it.
Sorry.
What did I miss?
I got a text from my buddy Greg, and one of the things he and I used to do after a bad day at Games Workshop was there was an A&W root beer just down the road from the office, so we'd go down and share a root beer and lament about the horrors of the day. And he's in Pittsburgh, living in Pittsburgh now. And he just sent me a text, and he said, "I'm planning on making it when I get back from Arizona. I'm going to make a trip to Ohio to see my family, and I'm going to be driving right through Pittsburgh. So I'm going to either on the way there or on the way back spend a couple of days with Greg." And he sent me a text just now, says, "For the next time we get together for Kill Team," and then he sent me a picture of an A&W root beer stand near his house. So I can go drown my sorrows for my poor dice rolling in a big frosty mug of A&W root beer.
There you go. All right. Now it's just a matter of letting this dry. It's not perfect. But it is pretty damn close.
What I found ironic about this conversation about this Necron dice tray is you were talking about the thin plastic that you use to make the symbol, which is reminiscent of the thin joints on the Necron models that are difficult to not snap when you're trying to put them together.
How coinkydinky.
Yeah, there's a correlation there. So
Yeah.
I have to go work at my part-time job today, so I have to be there. I'm working the 4 to 8 shift tonight, so
You get to hear all the lovely griping, complaining about cost and all this, and go, how many do you want? I'll take 3, please.
Yep. It's gonna be awesome.
All right. So what I'll do is once it's dry, I'll take a light piece of sandpaper and just lightly sand over the top of this just to kind of clean up some of the rough edges.
Right. You're going to paint the large base plastic black, yeah?
Yeah, I'll spray paint the whole thing black, and then I'll come in with a paintbrush and I'll hand paint the symbol.
Right.
So I might be able to fix this break right here with just paint it.
Right.
It'll visually be fine. I will always notice it, but I don't think anybody else will.
I'll point it out every time. I'll point it out every time I see the dice tray. Other than that, I don't see a big problem with it. I'll just go, hey,
Raymond's now going to know it's there and go, oh my God, every time I look at the dice tray, I see that. But this is the thing. This is handcrafted. So when something's handcrafted, you can't expect perfection. So, yeah, I think this is going to look cool, dude. Especially, well, it's not going to visually show up right, but
I think it's going to be fine, buddy.
Yeah. I'm excited. Again, this was a challenge. This was just something, everything else I've done up to this point has just been putting a piece of art in the bottom of a dice tray.
Apparently, Jonathan had to go take a shower while we were chatting.
Sorry, gents. Take a quick shower. How's everything been? Things have been good, buddy.
Yeah, I'm doing well.
How about you?
I'm just gearing up for my travel next week. So,
do you have a day set up to go hang out with Jonathan?
I do not yet. I don't really schedule a lot of stuff. I kind of play it by ear when I get there. So I know I got a lot of stuff to do in the store with Darren during the week, but my evenings will be kind of free. So,
hey, all right.
So we'll figure it out.
Well, I'm happy about this.
By noon, is it noon? Yeah, roughly noon, 1 o'clock your time on Thursday, I will be on a plane winging my way to Arizona, which I am massively looking forward to. Well, I'm not looking forward to the trip to the airport, dealing with the airport. But once I'm off that plane, I'll have a good time.
Well, not when you initially get off the plane. When you initially get off the plane, it's going to be super hot. You're going to go, why am I in you, Arizona?
Why am I in Arizona?
Why am I in you?
Because I have a bunch of people there that I love and I want to see them. So.
There you go. All right. So maybe later on this afternoon, I'll get this spray painted. I'm excited about this one. This is going to be fun.
The nice thing also when you spray paint that whole thing black, I think it's good because you're going to put a layer on that. You're going to put some paint on that seam between the image and the base plastic.
Yeah.
It will help seal it from any resin getting up underneath it.
That is true.
Yeah.
That is true. And because it's black and white, it's going to be contrasting pretty heavily.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that. I'll have to put a lot of paint on. So we'll make it work.
Yep.
All right. So now I'm back on to my big old giant.
Jonathan said things have been good, but he's been busy, so he's sorry that he's been absent. Yeah, we've missed you, buddy.
Yeah.
But we got the I'm going to call it the Holy Trinity today.
Holy Trinity.
Well, Joe's a constant. Joe's always there.
Yes.
But now we have the Don, Lenny, and Jonathan trilogy.
And Raymond.
And Raymond. Well, Raymond's usually here. Very rarely does Raymond disappear. But we run Don, Lenny, and John, depending on life and what's going on. They will come and go. They'll be here for a while. Then they run off and they do other things, and that's fine. Just causes the old man here worry.
Yes, you do worry about him. And then Tim popped in for a little bit. I don't know if he's still with us.
Yeah, I think he's still here. Tim doesn't normally chat too much.
No, he's probably painting airplanes.
See, but we do have another one missing that I haven't seen in a while.
Adam hasn't been here in a while.
That's the one I'm thinking about. Adam has not been.
I think he was here last weekend.
Was he?
I thought he was here last weekend.
He might have been. I guess they're all our kind of our core group.
Yeah. Yeah, just hobby hangout time. And David hasn't popped in yet, but he may be teaching or at class. So
yeah, he normally pops in. Hey, I'm taking a break from class.
Yeah.
How's everybody doing? That kind of a thing. So
starting to think when I retire, I may go back and get my degree in something.
All right.
I don't know. I got to figure out something to do when I retire. It's you think it's like, it's 5 years down the line.
It will go by in a snap.
That's exactly. As you get older and you start going downhill like I am, time flies. So I got to figure out a plan B. It's one of the reasons.
I'm at the bottom of that hill in the 4-car pileup. So.
Oh well, hopefully that's a traffic jam.
Yeah.
And I'm buying a house, so Wednesday nights have been tough recently, and I haven't painted in months because of packing stuff up and taking a break. Oh, I didn't know you were getting a new house. And then Jonathan almost done painting Dominion, working on the new terrain, the Exterminus terrain or whatever.
Yeah.
All while painting 2,000 points of Lumineth. Yes, here in painting aircraft being sad as revered past. Who is that?
I'm not sure who Al Revere is.
Is that one of your friends, Tim, or is that somebody?
Is it somebody we should all know, or just a buddy of yours, pal?
Sorry to hear that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, I think I know who Al is. I think it's one of the gaming guys.
No, that's too bad.
That sucks. Don, where are you moving to? Because you live out here in Surprise with me, buddy. Are you staying in Surprise, or are you moving out of the city?
Well, he's heard about your poor landscaping, so he's afraid it's going to damage his property value, so he's moving.
Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that. I think I know who Al was. That sucks.
Yeah, that's
sorry,
too bad.
Yeah.
You know, I read a study one time on one of the basically they went through the kind of a criteria of what you needed to, how you needed to be when, to live to be over 100.
Yeah.
And one of the things you have to be really able to do is the loss of people around you. You have to be really good at coping with the loss, because the older you get, the more and more and more you have to deal with, people passing.
Or you can just be antisocial like me.
I went through that a lot in my younger years. I lost a lot of friends to a lot of different things. It's really not easy.
No, it's not. It's hard. Litchfield Park, El Mirage, and Bethany Home. All right. That's not too far.
Well, congratulations, man.
Sounds like a good move. It's closer to the Air Force Base, I'll say that much. Watched an interesting movie.
Yes.
It was called Dark Death.
Ooh.
And it was on HBO, and it was a fantasy. It could have just been a role-playing game done as a movie.
Right.
It was during the plague, and you had a pack of warriors that were going off to investigate a town. And turns into like there was evil people in the town and all, typical trope fantasy stuff.
Sure.
But it had a couple good actors. It had the guy that played Boromir in Lord of the Rings.
Sean Bean.
Yeah, and he played the King's Hand in Game of Thrones.
Yep, I'm watching a. Well, he was Jon Stark.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was beheaded at the end of the first season. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, Sean Bean. I'm actually watching a movie of his right now as well.
Which one?
Black Death.
That's Black Death. That's what the one is. Okay, Black Death. Why did I call it Dark Death?
Yeah, Black Death is him traipsing across.
Yeah.
He's a knight.
knight?
He's got a monk going with him to.
Do you know who the monk is?
I recognize him. I do not know his name.
He played Percy in the Harry Potter, not the Harry Potter movies, but the ones that came out in the other ones.
He played in Savage Beasts and Where to Find Them.
Yeah. He's the wizard in that.
Oh yeah,
he is a unique actor.
Yeah, he also played Steve Hawkins in the biopic for Stephen Hawking.
Yeah, he is a very unique actor.
Yes.
Yeah, don't bring down the show, Tim. Just if you want to talk later, give me a call, buddy. Did send Bean do died real quick? Yes. He didn't die real quick in Black Death.
Well, I haven't been that far yet, so.
Oh, never mind. Sorry.
We're even now.
Well, no. Wait till you see it.
No, we're even because I called you on what was that one show? The one about the Canadian gangsters.
Yeah, I forget the name of it all of a sudden.
Yeah, I do that all the time, dude. I get used to it.
Like we were like
blood
love with that movie,
something like that.
What'd you say?
Bad Blood.
That's it.
Yep. Remember, I called you all excited and said, "Why did so and so have to die?" And you're going, "Well, I'll find out when I watch it." Like, oh man, I feel really bad. We're even now. But you can't watch a Sean Bean film and not actually expect at some point he's going to cash it in.
Yeah. Good stuff though. Good movie so far. I don't know how far you're into it, so I don't want to say too much.
Yeah, I literally just started the other day, so I'm not even. I would say not even a quarter of the way through.
All right, then you're not even close. Then.
Yeah, no, I'm not even close.
All right.
They haven't reached the city yet where they were headed for the issues. So
there's another known actress in the city.
Oh, awesome! Looking forward to it. It'll be great. It'll be great.
You might be able to put them all together real quickly.
Well, on a more jovial note, I am again so looking forward to coming out.
Yeah, we're all looking forward to seeing you. You're gonna be you're gonna have tons of people swinging in to see you.
Yeah. Darren and I got a lot of plans for the academy and trying to get that all sorted out.
Yeah, it's kind of taken on a different feel because you're not over there all the time,
right?
And with everything that's still going on, it's just not as busy as it used to be.
Yeah, well, that'll change, when things start getting back to normal. But
yeah, it's just been too long. You're going to be at the shop most days. Don wants to know, probably so he can swing in.
I'm going to be in the shop every day. For that first week, I get there on Thursday. I'll be there all day Friday prepping for the OG. Probably not a good day to come see me because I will be busy getting that sorted out.
And I'll be there on Friday to help you out with that.
And then the OG's on Saturday. Then from there, I don't know if I'll be in on Sunday or not. Probably will be. More of just on the social front, but then Monday, Darren and I are going to be doing a lot of stuff with the academy on merchandising and reorganizing and inventories and just getting there like we used to. Used to do every quarter when I was out there. We'd get the academy all squared away.
It's just one of those things. Like paints are just one of those weird things. They always get put in the wrong place, and you've always got to stay on top of it, and you got to re-inventory it on a regular basis.
Yeah, and they're high on shrinkage because they're pocket sized, so
right.
So they can be really high on shrinkage and whatnot. So yeah, we got to go through all that and reorganize. And
I do think the direction Darren's taking you guys are taking the academy is good. It's becoming known as you want paints, you go there. Like there's all the different types of paints. and all the different colors, and it's kind of becoming known as the place to go get paints. Others try to emulate it. They just don't quite do it.
Some outright steal the name.
Yes.
Because they aren't creative enough to come up with their own.
Yeah, but that's a flattery thing.
It is. It still doesn't make it less crappy. But
No. But it is flattery. Kind of like when people steal your bases.
Don't even go there. I've tried to explain that to you. That it's an homage. It's an homage to you. Now you have to give me credit though. The minute I saw the one base on, dude, I am so stealing that for my Hulk.
Oh, I know.
I mean, I said it to you instantly.
I know. Jonathan's wanting you guys to go to dinner.
Yeah, we definitely got to do that. Like I said, I will be.
You'll probably be doing dinner with Carlos as well.
Carlos is going to be there for the OG as he always is.
Right.
At least that's the plan.
Is Todd playing or is Todd not coming?
I don't know. I don't know if Todd will be playing or hanging out. So I have a his custode army here that I was trying to get done. It's just not going to be done in time. So
I'm painting this Giants diaper.
Painting a diaper. Be amazed as a miniature painter of some of the things you end up painting, and you're like, "What the heck did I do?"
Why am I painting this? What am I painting? I'll have to dinner, keep in touch with you while you're here. See if you have any slower time and stop by and see you. So,
well, the nice thing about when I'm there, I'm not going to be swamped to the point that I can't stop whatever I'm working on and hang out and spend some time, go do lunch, that kind of thing. Because the academy is it's not the entire store, but and Darren also understands that I'm coming out to visit and also help out with that as well. So he gives me all the time I need to do whatever I need.
I think the only day that's going to be a challenge, Mike, you should add skin marks to that. I think the only day that's going to be the challenge is going to be Friday and Saturday.
Yeah, the day before the OG and the OG itself.
Yeah.
So, and now the more stressful day for me is the day before, as you know.
Right.
Up until the point they open the doors on Saturday, I will be stressed to make sure everything's in place, everything's going well. The other big stress for me this year is I've read ninth, but I've not played ninth.
Right.
So I'm going to be I'm just making sure that everyone and again the OGs usually we've only had one real problem in the OG in all the times we've had the OG.
Yeah, that was just the line of sight rule.
Yeah, we've only had one time that we had a guy get a little out of hand. So I'm not too worried about that because there's a good bunch of guys that play in the OG.
Yeah. How many people have signed up to play?
Last check, we were over. We maxed it at 24 because
right.
We're also trying to make it a little more spaced out than we normally do.
No, that makes sense.
And the last time I checked, we were over 20. So I'm almost afraid we're going to have to turn people away.
Sweet. Well, I'm not in it this year. I'm just going to be running.
Coming to hang out.
Well, I'm in the same boat. I haven't played ninth and haven't really played like outside of playing Gaslands. I really haven't played a lot of anything.
I have not played anything since I moved here.
Yeah.
Since I moved back to Maryland to be near my I'll take it back. I played board games.
Right.
I go to my youngest daughter's house and we play
Rune Quest.
The name of the game, not Rune Quest. Let me find it here. Hang on.
Arcadia Quest.
Arcadia Quest. Yes, I love me some Arcadia Quest. Yes, and I've got the Usagi Yojimbo set now. That's my permanent. I play these every single time.
Yeah, we watched you paint those, didn't we?
Yeah. I actually did I did two sets. I did one for a buddy of mine, the guy that turned me on to Usagi Yojimbo, Nate. He's the one that turned me on to Usagi Yojimbo and Samurai Rabbit. And when that set came out for Arcadia Quest, I was all over it. I was like, I gotta have this, but I had to honor Nate because he's the one that turned me on to Usagi. So I sent him a set.
Look at you. The challenge I've had is just finding people like I'm only playing on Fridays now. My Fridays are even getting booked up to where I can't even play on Fridays.
Yeah. Well, life has a way of doing that.
Yeah. Well, to be honest with you, after the lockdown, life changed.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, people's priorities are a little different, and I don't think we're ever going to go back to being exactly like it was before.
Yeah. Well, and things aren't good locally. So, Andy's work is they're having all kinds of issues, and
Yep.
So anywho, I do need to make an effort though.
Well, that's the thing. I'm kind of, when I moved up here, I knew I'd be isolating myself just moving here,
Right.
because there's really not a. I mean, the closest really what I would call really good game shop is almost 70 miles away. It's games and stuff down in Baltimore. I mean, the place where I'm working part time now, it's a decent old game shop, but it's mostly a comic shop and a magic shop.
Right.
Miniatures and board games are kind of a secondary thing for them, which is not a bad thing. It's what they want to do. They're perfectly allowed to do that.
Well, it's got to be based on sales, like obviously.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what sells.
Absolutely. So
if miniatures don't sell,
I haven't done anything really in a long time. So I'm going to be I think maybe a little overwhelmed when I first get there. Well, wait a minute. I have been under lockdown, living by myself, and really the only people I see or hang out with are my kids and grandkids. I don't have a lot of friends outside that circle. Not back here anymore because most of them have
moved away.
Locked down, couldn't see them or couldn't do anything or.
So Jonathan said that the 2 years prior, he only played like 3 games of 40K, but after 9th hit, he's played over 20 games, and then Sigmar 3.0 hit. I'm telling you, I've been playing it nonstop, and it's even better.
Yeah, I've been reading a little bit about. Again, I broke out my I can't think of the name of the dwarves again.
Chaos dwarves. Oh, the flying dwarves.
Whatever they're called.
Yeah.
I think that's the hardest part for me getting into Age of Sigmar is I'm used to Warhammer.
Right.
So all these new names for things really just confuses the old guy here. So
it's like those aren't I don't know, Lumineth elves, those are high elves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chaos dwarves are chaos dwarves, dwarves is dwarves.
I don't know if you have normal dwarves anymore.
They don't. They have the what we would call slayers.
Right. You have slayers as a faction, and then you have
the weird kind with that I'm playing, the whatever they're called.
The Goodyear blimp ones.
Yeah. Yep. I do have to say though.
Soulblight Grave Lords. Oh, normal dwarfs are still in Cities of Sigmar. I forget City of Sigmar.
But I haven't seen a actual dwarf army book.
No, Cities of Sigmar is like it's kind of a combination of a bunch of older factions all mixed into one, almost like a Dogs of War type situation.
See, I'm used to when it was just dwarves. You had elves, high elves, wood elves, but they've changed all the names, and I'm just not. Again, it's just not because I disagree with them or I'm making some kind of a silent protest. It's just I'm used to the old Warhammer world.
Yeah.
And then when my Chaos Dwarves kind of went away and
took a back seat.
Yeah, it's like, okay, I guess I won't play that game. After I invested more than $1,000 on a Forge World Chaos Dwarf army.
But it brought you hours of entertainment painting it.
Oh, I still enjoy painting them.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, I've been been because I've been looking at the Sigmar stuff or the all that stuff. I've been like, going, okay, maybe I should play with these a bit. So I've been reminiscing.
And as soon as you get to that point where you paint it, then they're going to drop the rules for the old world.
Well, I'll be honest with you. I'll be surprised if that ever comes to pass.
You think?
Yeah, I think it'll it's because it's taken so long. I mean, how long has it been since they made the announcement?
A couple of years.
It was before the pandemic.
Well, we were at weren't we at LVO when they made it?
Yep. So I'm waiting for them to just kind of drift off into the nether realm.
And they did have an article about it recently, but I think they posted like a map or something. They posted something up. Still a lot of unknowns on that right now, and I think they're a little bit busy with everything. They're trying to get the launch of the streaming service up and running.
Yeah, that's what, the 25th of this month, yeah.
So I think that's probably where a lot of their attention's at right now.
Yep.
Because we all know what's going to happen. You know, it's most likely going to crash. And it's not a bad thing. I just don't know if they're prepared for how many people are actually going to sign up and start watching it day one.
And don't take my negative comments as a criticism. It's just, right now everything's kind of difficult, and I have been sitting at the GW feeder bar since 1987, so I don't plan on going anywhere soon. Mostly because I got too much money invested.
Yeah,
too much money and time.
Lots of time.
Like I said, I've been playing.
I think the streaming thing's going to be. It's going to be a success. I think you're going to see. I think a lot of people are going to log in day one. It's going to have some issues, which, let's face it, that's kind of par for the course for any type of streaming service.
Anything new, yep, absolutely.
So I think it's just going to be it's going to be a thing.
I remember when this new fangled thing came out for 40K called Terminators. I remember the box set. I remember people talking about it. So
how it killed? Was it a game killer?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. No way in heck. I remember when you get 3 rhinos for $20 and 2 land raiders for $20.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now you can't even get the doors for $20.
Well, thank you, Lenny. That's a nice compliment. I'm
yeah.
I've had some practice painting Space Wolves.
A little.
Yeah, because as I said, I've been playing GW since '88, and guess how long I've been playing Space Wolves?
Since '88.
About that, yeah. I started doing my own personal chapter, and then I read the description in the original Rogue Trader book. I read the description of the Fang in the old Rogue Trader book, and went, man, I really got to play these guys. And I have not played a different army. I've painted many different armies, but I've not played a different 40K army seriously as my own personal army in a long time.
When you painted many, but were those armies you painted for other people, or were those armies you painted for yourself?
I have painted a couple armies for myself.
Okay.
And maybe played them once, and then was like, nah, it doesn't have the right feel for me. And of course, I sell my Space Wolf armies. I've sold, I don't know how many. I'm on my 29th version of my Space Wolf army. So,
I think that's hilarious.
Well, the thing is, GW puts out so much cool stuff all the time that I get an army together, and then they put out a bunch of new stuff, and I'm like, well, that's really cool. I don't want that. I got to have that. And for the longest time, I couldn't afford to just replace an army and keep all the old stuff. So I'd sell my old army as the funds I needed to start my new army.
Yeah.
So the difference is, though, it was always a Space Wolf army.
Oh, we also got new Kill Team coming out.
Yeah, I'm actually going to check that out.
Well, I talked to Joe about it yesterday. So Darren got his copy in at the shop for a preview copy.
Right.
So that leads me to think that everybody got their preview copy if they received a preview copy.
Right.
And Joe kind of, I was kind of weirded out about the colored dot thing.
Right.
And Joe kind of talked to me about it a little bit, and he was like, it kind of ties into some of the mechanics of the game. So I want to give it a closer look at and see what it's all about. Still online collecting Blood Angels now. I'm in Sigmar. Oh my gosh, resisting the Cruel Boys. Can't resist the Cruel Boys. And Lenny says, I'm the same way. Sold off my Blood Angels army to make new Blood Angel army, which I should really finish.
But see, when you're like, because Lenny and I are a bit the same. I'll sell off my old army to start a new army, and it's always a new Space Wolf army. So you're just perpetually playing Blood Angels. Don't think of it as one army gone. It's like technology. I've been playing Space Wolf since 1988. All right, which is longer than some of you I think have been alive. So
I graduated high school in 1988.
There you go. That lets you know. My back, my knees. Ow, I hurt. Every time somebody points out how old I am, all these old aches and pains pop up.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, Jonathan, it's a reference thing for movement, and I get it. It was just when I first heard it, I was like, that's just weird. I didn't quite grasp it. And again, I'm not up to date on all my stuff. So
when you get to be my age, and quite frankly, you're not that far behind me. When you get to be up there, there's a point you kind of go, why do they have to keep changing things that work?
Right.
And I can tell you it's not as scientifically thick or as thought out as most people think. It literally boils down to new design team wants to make changes because they don't want to just keep perpetuating somebody else's project.
Right. It's like we got a new chief of police at the police department. Things are changing just to change.
Yeah, that's a lot of people want to put when you get a new. I mean, because the design team that I knew when I started playing GW, they're not even around anymore. I think Jervis is the only one left around.
Jervis is gone from GW, man. He retired.
From GW now. He retired. Well, there you go.
Yeah.
You can tell how much I follow that.
Jonathan was in 3rd grade in '88.
There you go. And thanks. I feel much better. Ow, my knee, elbow.
No, but they're trying to make Kill Team. I think Kill Team is going to be turned into more of an RPG-ish kind of game. It's not going to be a fast-paced, smash 'em up, killy kind of game. It's going to be a little bit more slower in the sense, especially with close combat.
Right.
So I want to get the rules. I don't, Joe was explaining a bunch of stuff to me yesterday, and it sounds interesting.
Well,
we'll give it a shot.
I'll give it a shot, but the point I'm trying to make is new people come in, new blood gets in the business, so they change things. It's inevitable. It just happens. But when you get to be my age, you keep going, why don't you just let me play my old game? I want to play,
Well, and bottom line, I haven't gotten rid of my old rules.
Yeah, this is true. Absolutely. But I'll try the new stuff. I have zero problem with it. It's just the change is basically, and also you want to have sales. You can't keep perpetuating the same thing over and over and over again. It just eventually, other than Coke and Pepsi.
Raymond's like, yeah, it looks like Kill Team's going to be like 40K Warcry. A little bit, I would think. There's going to be some. Let's face it, 40K gets a lot of rules ported in from other games.
Right.
We all know that. Usually, Age of Sigmar rules get ported into 40K.
Yep.
Apparently, Tim was shooting hippos at Disneyland in '88. So, anyways, the big thing though is I want that terrain.
Yes.
The orc terrain in that box set looks fabulous. Plus, you got the Death Creek, or I forget what they're calling them now, but you got the new models in there. So the price of admission is worth it for those two concepts. Because I'll put it in the big pile of Shadow War Armageddon terrain that I own and the big pile of other orc terrain that I own. And I'll look at that and go, I could build a really cool orc table. And then I'll put it all back in the closet. But I want to take a look at it. I want to be fair in
I'm
my
not gonna
evaluation.
poo-pooing it. I'm actually going to give it a try because I love Kill Team. Is actually my preferred game to play because it is fewer models and less prep time and you know so. But change is inevitable as you get new design guys in. They want to put their own mark on it. They gotta keep sales at a certain level, and you're not going to do that rehashing the same thing over and over and over again.
And back and forth, they brought secondary objectives from 40K in the form of battle tactics in Sigmar. Yes. I still haven't gotten my head around the whole secondary objective thing. I guess it's because my play style is smash and grab. So I don't think secondary.
That used to be called kill it and search its pockets for change.
Yes, that's I am the murder hobo of the 41st millennium.
Yeah, that's pretty much how you describe certain D&D, in my opinion. D&Ders now is kill it and check its pockets for change, move on.
Yeah.
The actual role playing aspect, and from all the games I've witnessed, has become less of an issue.
Smash and grab, which then just makes it a board game.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm going to check out the new Kill Team, see what it's all about. If worst case scenario, if I don't like it, I still have the old rules. But, I think I'll like the thing that turns me on, which turns you on as well about that game, is I can paint up different factions that I've always had an interest in, like Sisters of Battle or Space Wolves or whatever.
And you don't have to do a whole 2,000 point army or
right. And I can still paint them, have fun with them. I've become more of a painter than a gamer.
Well, that's the thing. No matter what GW does with the rules, as long as they keep putting out cool minis, I'll be a customer.
Yeah.
Because right now, I mean, even before, my primary aspect of the hobby was I love painting their stuff. And like I said, I'm never going to be one of the award-winning great painters you see, but I enjoy painting stuff. I'm not too bad at it. And my miniature of choice is always Space Wolves. So
right. That's why Jonathan loves Warcry and Underworlds. Paint up a few models, have a good time, get uncomfortable, painting something new.
Yeah, I have become a little bit like Alan because Alan's just a miniature painter. I mean, if it's a good miniature, I want to paint it, and I happen to like the GW stuff. I like some of the things. I do enjoy playing. I don't get as much time to, especially since moving here. I haven't played a game in I don't know how long of an actual miniature war game. So
well, we'll see how this Kill Team thing goes over.
Oh, I think I've got my first layer of the of Rust Gray on this boy.
All right.
Now I got to go back and I'll start in. Yeah, I'd love to see her. You should. Well, we have a little thing called a Discord channel, Jonathan, that we post miniatures on all the time.
Really? Do we?
Yeah, because he said he's going to send me a picture of his Dominion Orc Shaman. I want to see it, absolutely. So
I hate the game Underworlds, but I love the models for that reason. It lets me paint and taste an army. I've done Goblins, Khorne, Vampires, Ghosts. It's cool. Yeah. Sometimes it's not necessarily, I'm trying not to get caught up into the rules as much as it is. I want to get caught up in the army and the painting of the army and the social aspect of hanging out with people I enjoy hanging out with.
Yep.
That want to play cool games or play with cool models. So that's why I'm painting this giant, because I want to get this Warlord of Erewhon army painted up. And I think this giant's going to look cool in my army.
I agree.
I went with red for the diaper, just because it's going to there's red in flesh tones. So,
yep.
And then I'm just adding some white. There's like these little cloths hanging off. I'm just going to do those in different shades, but I based it on white. But I think it's about that time, buddy.
Are we getting close?
Hell yeah.
Yeah, in reference to Jonathan's comment, I've actually never bought a miniature based on me liking the game. I've always liked the miniature, which has drawn me into the game. And I think that's the biggest difference is if I see a miniature I really like, I'll go, like, for example, the game Heavy Gear. when I started carrying heavy gear at Waterloo, my first attraction was, wow, these models look really, really cool. I want to paint some. And then from there, I went to the game. And that's pretty much been every time I transition from a miniature, it's because I like the miniature, and that draws me into the game.
In Gaslands, it's just cheap and easy to buy Hot Wheels and chop them up.
Yeah, but it plays to your hobbying of Hot Wheels cars.
Yes.
And quite frankly, I got hooked on it for a while. Had not my schedule gotten, I can't find my mouse. I can't change cameras.
Oh no.
Had I not, my commission work not picked back up again suddenly. Because I actually enjoyed the aspect of converting Hot Wheels as well.
And our class, I think Joe's going to be posting the class today for the 28th.
Okay.
It's going to be a small classroom setting. Simply, we're only going to have 10 people max.
Right.
In the classroom, simply because of spacing and everything like that. And
don't dedicate a spot in that spacing for me.
No. You're just kind of kibitzing. Yeah, you're just going to kibitz off to the side. But I got a bunch of I drilled and tapped a bunch of cars. So I'm going to have some Big Air Bel Air, some American Steins, some Bone Shakers. What?
I'm still rolling the phrase drilled and tapped. Sorry.
It's lingo. I got lingo.
Got
Gasland lingo.
The college dorm guy in me came out when you said
so anyways, that class, it's going to start around 10:30. I'm going to do a little bit of a lecture over just different tools to consider if you're seriously going to dive into converting cars.
Then it's probably a good thing I'm not going to be like in the class, because during your little lecture I'll be going.
But for some people, it's going to be fascinating stuff because they've never used a jeweler saw, or they've never been.
Hold on a minute.
What?
The guy missing the top of his finger is going to lecture on saws and how to use them properly.
I never said safely. I said properly. You put the saw down, you move it back and forth. That's how you properly use a saw.
I am going to wait off the wings until you bring out the little saw instruction. I'm going, hey, aren't you missing a finger?
That was a bicycle accident. That's a totally different thing.
I'm sorry.
So anyways, because I watch a lot of people online, like I watch YouTube videos and I'm part of the Facebook groups and all this stuff, and they don't take their cars apart. They literally are just painting them and I'm like, but you can get such a better look.
Yeah. If
you take the time to drill out the post, you don't have to screw it back together. I just go above and beyond because I'm that guy.
Well, we've talked about that before. When we talked about one of my biggest complaints when I get a guy coming in that would ask me a painting question, and I would try to answer it. What would he say to me?
Oh, I watched this YouTube channel.
Yeah, and then you watch a YouTube channel, and they start at A, and then their next comment is about step B or step Q. They missed all the prep stuff in between. It just makes me crazy.
Well, and that's why the instructions I've created go from very basic of here's a Hot Wheel out of the package, you can play with it, to here's a Hot Wheel that I actually took apart, stripped the paint down, stripped the chrome off it, changed the wheels out on it, added some weapons, chopped some stuff up, put some, and it's just going to be a lecture on all the different stuff that I use.
Yeah.
So people can make their own decision on how far they want to go. Not everybody wants to go that far.
Yeah, absolutely. But the thing is, and this is what you do, and what you and I've talked about on numerous occasions. You teach to the person at here's what you have to do, and then let them decide where they want to take it. But you give them all the information.
Yes.
So many guys out there that do instructional videos, they simply instruct on how they do it, and they skip so many steps that they don't give the person the opportunity to pick and choose what works best for them. Right. And that's always been, and you don't do that. And that's always been one of my biggest complaints when I watch a YouTube video. It's like, well, what about this, this, and this? You know, you didn't talk about that.
Well, that's and that comes from you and I just having endless conversations on these different subjects of YouTube videos and people just throwing stuff out there. And even when you teach, when we talk about edge highlighting or glazing, it's like there's lots of different techniques. You just need to pick the one that works for you.
Well, what's one of the phases I talk about all the time that you never hear an instructor talk about?
The cleanup phase.
The cleanup phase.
Luckily, in Gasland, your cleanup phase is usually cleaning up glue off your hands,
or some metal fibers off your table from where you're drilling out the hobby. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, because if the car looks a little grungy, you're like, it works.
Yeah,
it's like, it doesn't need to be perfect. But yeah, so that's the 28th and 21st. We've got the OG. So
yep.
Hopefully. This today I'll get that resin poured in yours, get Raymond's dice tray to get the plastic all done and get things moving.
I think you're creating probably for Raymond what's going to become a major conversation piece whenever he plays that army. Oh, yeah. That is such a unique dice tray. It's going to be awesome. I'm really looking forward to seeing it done.
I think it's, and also if he, depending on what dice he uses in it, like he could use, if he uses like Necron looking kind of dice that match, like a black and white dice to match, it'll be neat. And the coffin looks black on video. Like when I showed it to you, it looks black. It's actually just a super dark brown.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be awesome.
So so when light hits it, just you kind of see hints of brown in it. It's kind of neat. I kind of dig it.
I'm looking forward to seeing it in person.
Yeah, I'm kind of looking forward to seeing it done myself.
Yeah, because I think you're making for Raymond what's going to be the talk of the tournament is that but I guarantee you, guys that he plays against or plays with are going to say, "Oh yeah, there's this guy. There was this really cool coffin dice tray. It was awesome."
Yeah,
so that's going to be good.
And it matches that symbol that's on their chest.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's necessarily supposed to be a coffin, but it looks like a coffin.
They're supposed to be in their presentation initially when they were thought of. They were the undead of the 40K universe. That's exactly.
So they were like the vampires of the 40K.
They were the undead. Because they got guys back because they regenerated. There was that they were the undead of the 40K universe.
What was the old rule? The get back up rule.
Yeah.
Get back up and keep on going. So.
Yep.
Well, next week is going to be a whirlwind of excitement and stuff going on with you coming into town, gearing up for the 40K OG. Get ready for it. We're still doing a show Wednesday because you're not leaving
Wednesday night. But between starting probably tomorrow till Wednesday of next week, I am going to be in a flurry of packing terrain to ship to Darren. Not as much as I wanted to ship. I've just been busy and distracted and everything else. So, but yeah, it's going to be me getting stuff ready to go, getting my stuff packed up, what I want to bring, what I can't bring. I know I'm going to be able to bring some Gaslands cars.
Okay.
But I'm not sure I'm going to be able to fit in any kind of an army for myself. But also, I don't really have a lot of time to play when I'm out there.
Well,
a big 40K game. So
if you can't, don't worry about packing Gaslands cars.
Dude, the case is this big. I can literally I could put all my cars. You remember that Kill Team case?
Yeah.
I can literally put all my cars in the Kill Team case and toss my suitcase and no one know the difference. But bringing all my like an entire army, that would be a second carry-on, and that's what I got to decide. Do I want to spend the money for a second carry-on, that kind of thing? And I'm one of the weird guys. I actually lock up and check my miniature case. So.
If it's packed good, there's no reason not to.
Yeah, it'll be good.
Because I don't know what your schedule is going to be crazy when you're here, so we'll figure it out.
Actually, to be honest, once the first couple of days is going to be hectic, and then when Darren and I get ready to go to Montana, it's going to be hectic. But the week in between is usually pretty easy going. I'm pretty free to pretty much do what I want to do.
Well, we'll have to figure out some times to do some stuff.
It'll be awesome.
But I'll definitely be there on Friday to help you with the OG.
Yep.
Just go through, and then we'll probably go get some lunch to de-stress.
Yeah.
And then Saturday morning it'll be the usual crack of dawn type situation.
Setting terrain up, and I know that I have to Carlos will be there to set up his stuff because 2 tables are going to be, sponsored by him. So
Right.
Mechanical Warhorse will be good. So it'll be awesome.
Yeah. And then
I'm really looking forward to it.
We'll kick off the event, have a good time, and everyone gets to play some 40K.
It'll be awesome.
Maybe I'll actually read the rules.
Who knows?
Who knows?
What craziness.
What craziness. Mike's going to read rules?
I'm hoping while I'm out there, I'm going to paint this while I'm there.
Oh, there you go.
That should be very cool as well. So
yeah, maybe and then we'll have to figure out. We're not going to obviously do anything on Saturday, before the tournament, and probably not do anything before the class. So Wednesday might be our last show for a while.
Well, we talked about the week I'm in Arizona. Probably won't be doing a Wednesday show, or a Saturday show.
Yeah,
we'll be busy. But Darren did talk about doing the Wolf Den from Montana.
Yes, but that's the following Wednesday.
So it may only be one. Like, we'll have a show this week. We're not going to have a show on the 21st,
right?
And probably will not have one on the 28th. So we're going to miss those 2 shows, and there won't be a Wolf Den in between them. But we'll have a Wolf Den the week after. So we're not really missing a whole lot of weeks, a whole lot of shows.
No, just one. It's just going to be like a week.
Yeah. So we'll miss 2. We'll miss 1 Wolf Den and 2 What's New with Mike and Jeff on the Saturdays. So
because we will be busy.
But since most of our audience is from Arizona, if you want to see What's New with Mike and Jeff, we will be at the shop both those days.
You could virtually just come down and talk to us in person.
You can see the live version of What's New with Mike and Jeff.
We can have human interaction.
The cool part is, for me on the 28th, I'm coming in to help you set up for your event. Not you usually come in to help me set up because you know how I get. So it'll be cool.
Yes. Me, I'm just going to be like, we'll be here.
Yeah, I can't do that. I've done it too many times. I just stress out. My veins bulge in my head. But what for a fact, once that door opens and they walk in, I'm cool. But
everything just goes. It's like Calgon washes away.
Yep. But up until the door unlocked and people come in, I'm like, is that done? Is this done? Is that done? Is that right? Oh, that's not right. And then the door opens. Okay, cool. Whatever happens, happens.
Yep. You're like a little Napoleon dictator. Like, and then it's like everything. Oh, now you're the surfer dude. Just kind of chill, relax.
Because I know that no plan survives impact with the enemy.
Right.
So once those guys walk in, I know things are going to go wrong. We'll handle them as they come up, but I don't have to try to cover up those areas beforehand. So
right. And just Jonathan meeting in person. Ooh, that is gross.
Yeah, it's been a while since the old elbow handshakes have to be there, and so
just everybody, please shower.
Yes. Yes. And I'll let everyone else know I haven't seen everybody in a long time. So certain people out there are going to get hugs. So if you want to social distance, as I'm coming in for the bear hug, let me know. So
yes.
So
yeah, it's all right. I got the mustache already.
I remember once at workshop when I hadn't seen John Stollard in like forever. John Stollard is the guy that he owns Warlord Games. He had come back to visit. I hadn't seen him in forever, and I love the man to death. I gave him a hug, and as I'm coming in for the big hug, he goes, "Oh, I forgot, you're a hugger," and he does this. So,
I'll do the uncomfortable hug because you'll like come in to hug, you'll lean that way, and then I'll lean that way just to make you uncomfortable. And if you jerk the other, I'll just to make you uncomfortable.
That'll be fine. I'm a hugger
because that's what I do. I make people uncomfortable because I like being uncomfortable.
It's all about pushing people out of their comfort zone, man. That's what we do.
That's what it's all about. So, all right. Well, I'm going to press buttons. We're going to get out of here. I have to go pick up the groceries. And so everybody come tune in Wednesday night. We'll go over any last minute detail things for the OG or for the class. And then we're going to take a break from streaming for like a week. Yep. And then we'll come back in and do it all over again. So,
and probably for the next show after Wednesday night show, probably the next show we do after that will be Wednesday night. But I'll be coming to you live from Great Falls, Montana, in all probability.
How long are you staying in Montana?
I'm in Montana probably from the 29th or 30th until the 7th of September.
Okay. Are you guys are driving, right?
Yeah, I'm up with Darren. I'll be with Darren for over a week, about 10 days.
Oh. You guys don't fly. Darren doesn't like to fly, does he?
No, it'll be a good drive.
Yeah.
I'm looking. That's part of what I'm looking forward to is a drive from Arizona up to Montana. So
you guys gonna make any stops along the way?
I have no idea. I'm sure Darren will have some stuff he wants to show me on the way up. So,
well, I know he likes to go to certain like churches, like old churches, old buildings, architecture.
We went through 3 different routes he takes to get to Montana, and he asked me which one I preferred. And I said, I've never made that drive, so you pick. And the only one I didn't poo-poo it, but I said, well, is one that takes you up through Vegas. And I want to take the one that's got the most to see. And so he's taking me on some route that'll is the most scenic of the 3. So
yeah, the Vegas one, it's Vegas.
Vegas. Once you've seen Vegas, you've seen Vegas.
So. It's no different than what it is on TV. It's just not as exciting. It's more
sometimes
depressing.
The names of the casinos change, but other than that,
well, it depends on what movie you're watching.
Yeah, good point.
All right, everybody. So tune in on Wednesday. We'll be back for the Wolf's Den, and get ready for next week. If you've got some free time and if you aren't going to be in any of the activities, you can always swing by and see us in person at the shop on Saturdays. We'll be there. I'll be there for the next.
And I'll be there from the 20th until the 28th. I'll be in the shop pretty much every day, so you can stop in and say hi.
Signing autographs.
Yeah. I don't even sign autographs for the 2 books I wrote. So there you go. So
I haven't even seen the book you wrote.
Well, neither have I in a long time. I have a shelf full of them. But yeah.
All right, everybody. Y'all take care. We'll see you later. Bye.
Take care, guys.